Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
And our guest today is Maureen Scanlon, and she's a relationship expert and also a fellow May 28er. She was on our birthday show, my birthday show back in May 28th.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so what is your fabulous sign, you guys?
Gemini.
Gemini. Okay, so May 28th. That's what you
We're
said,
like a box
correct?
of chocolate. Yeah, we're like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get.
No, and John is that too. Wow. And that was a fun birthday show. To find 4 people, and we had them all on the show at once on your guys' birthday, that was cool because I've only found 2 other people that I've run across in life that had my same birthday that I knew, obviously.
Oh, what's your birthday?
August 21st.
August 21st. I don't know an August 21st. That is a rare one.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Leo, yes. It changes on the 23rd.
Do you know Leos and Geminis are one of the best compatibility matches in the zodiacs, in the astrology.
No, I did not.
My best friend's a Leo. So, yeah, that's why you and Jonathan get along so well. You're Gemini and Leo.
We totally get each other. That's totally true. I believe in all of that stuff. Okay, so let's get to it. You are a relationship expert, and so what makes you one of those? I mean, what kind of qualities do you need to have? And not only that, but what kind of background, education do you need for that, if any? Or is this just something that naturally comes to you?
I think the biggest part of my education was my own experience. And, you can't sit in front of someone and try to tell them how to, make these changes if you haven't been through it. So it's these tried and true methods that I used along with education where I have certification. I'm a certified life coach. I have classes and certification in infidelity and, CBT therapies and emotive behavioral therapy. So it's kind of a combination of both, but I really find that my experience really has been the biggest tool in my toolbox to help my clients because you lived it, you experienced what they experienced.
Right. I assume that you've been through a lot then, because if you've been through a lot, you have the experience. Do you want to talk about something that was the first thing that happened to you that you went through and you got through that was really, really tough, that maybe sparked your interest in becoming a life coach?
Absolutely, and I think it was just a compilation of my life up until I decided, life coaching is definitely the dream job for me. So, backstory on me, I got married at 18, really, really young, and I married a man who had addiction. He was an alcoholic. And I really wanted to make it work. My upbringing was that you stick it out no matter what, didn't know my worth, didn't know what I deserved, didn't know I had a say. So, he's the father of my children, and I'm grateful for that. But I really learned a lot from that marriage, first of all, because there was domestic violence. There was a lot of the psychological and mental stuff that goes along with the physical violence, the domestic violence. It really was just kind of this pathway to say, later on, I remember I remember the very end of it when I had found out that he was unfaithful, and I had gone through, AA classes with him. I mean, I was pregnant going through AA classes, and
the Al-Anon,
just
right?
Yeah, right. Yep, and just sort of trying everything I could to make this work. And then when he was unfaithful, it was just devastating. And I remember sitting with my daughter's best friend's mom, and I don't know where it came from, you guys, but I was devastated, and I was just sobbing. And I said, if I have to go through this to help one person, I will. And it was just so random. It was out of the blue. I had no idea what was going to come 20 years later. But obviously it was in there, and it was validation that later on I'm going to need this. And I didn't know that at the time, and I know it now, which is always, hindsight is 20/20. And so I needed to have those kinds of experiences to help others not lose themselves in these relationships.
Oh, yes. And that is when you realize, when you are a type of person that can realize something bad happened to me, but that was because of a reason. That's for a reason. And then you find out what the reason is, and it's like, wow, it really sometimes is all worth it. And then you realize, I know now why I went through that, so I can help other people. Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, 100%. And I say now, my message is to give someone the message I needed when I was at that age or when I was going through that. But yet, if you would ask me, would you change any of it, I would say no. The only thing I would change is the amount of time that it took me to learn the lessons. I wish I would have just taken the lessons and moved on a little bit quicker, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And, it takes a lot of healing. And, that's what I write about in my book. My dog is my relationship coach. It's about taking that time to heal yourself. I had been in relationship after relationship after relationship. Like, I didn't know myself unless I was in a relationship. Like, that was my identity.
Right.
And
codependent.
taking, 100%. And I look back now and I think that stemmed from my childhood. I was pretty codependent with my parents. But it really was that evolution. And then finally, just like I tell my life coaching clients, you have to be so tired of your stuff that you just say, I can't do this anymore, and I have to do something different and stop the cycle of insanity. And that's just it. I finally took, a couple of years to just do some downtime, do some alone time, finally like myself, like being by myself, like being with myself, and,
not
feeling
just
like
loving yourself, but liking. There's a difference.
Oh, I love that you said that. You have to be comfortable in your own company, and I never was. And that was
That's
really...
why you might have been reaching out for others to validate, make you feel like you're worthy, and that is a codependent thing that people do when they're reaching for that. So, oh, wow, this is amazing. But did it click with you, or did you go to some counseling and learn that, or did you just kind of come to a realization yourself?
I just realized it. I just reached that point where I said, you have all of these sort of failed relationships behind you, Maureen, and the only common denominator in that is you. So we got to figure out what you're doing. So it wasn't finger pointing or blaming them. They had their part in it, but I needed to own my own part in it, why I kept breaking my own heart, and why I was attracting the same person over and over and over. And that's really when it was the aha moment where it was like, whoa. I remember I got really into hiking for a while when I was doing my little spiritual journey. And I remember meeting people on the trail, and people would come up to me and talk to me, and, we'd have good conversations. And I remember it was sort of this moment of, wow, people like me when it's just me. And it sounds silly, but you know what I mean? When you made your identity out of being in a couple your entire life, no matter how dysfunctional it was a really good realization. And it was sitting at home on those nights with my dogs and just crying some nights and just, getting through those emotions and owning it and saying, okay, I'm processing it, and then I'm letting it go. And then it was the empowerment. The empowerment phase comes after that, when you just go, I know what I want. I know my worth. I know what I deserve. I'm setting a bar, and I'm never going to settle again. And I used to say, if I don't meet my partner till I'm in the nursing home, I don't care. The next one's going to be good for me. And lo and behold, my husband came into the picture on a dating site. So,
and you drew him to you with that new perspective. How amazing! Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that I've noticed is that you have to know what it is you want in a partner. It's sort of, how is the guy you're with now different than the others that you've been around with?
Oh. There isn't even a comparison. So you say apples and oranges. This is like apples and pizza. There's no comparison. But I'll tell you, Jonathan, you just said the key point. You said you have to know what you want. And that's one of the things that I coach my clients is we create this avatar of everything that you want in a partner, and I call them non-negotiables. So those are your must-haves. And you have to stick to it. You can't go out on a date and one of your must-haves is, that they're spiritual. And then you go out on a date and they don't believe in any of those things that you believe in. Well, why are you going to give them another date? And so many of us make these exceptions. There's something really off about someone that doesn't sit well with our values, our core needs, wants, desires. And then we just say, well, that's okay. They have everything else. No, you have to really stick to your bar. And that's what I did. I would just go out there dating and be like, nice to know you, but you're just not a good fit for me. And I just kept trying it and getting better at figuring out what I wanted. And, then my husband and I started talking online. I made him wait 4 months for a first date. And we
were you
did
guys
date
in the same
for
area?
No.
Region in America?
So that's the funny thing, too. I didn't want to do a long distance. And when he contacted me originally, he lived in Denver, but he was moving to Phoenix. And so I was kind of like, yeah, talk to me when you're in Phoenix, because I don't want to do long distance. Yeah. And we talked for 4 months online. I really was in the mindset of I just want friends. I'm not ready for a relationship. I want to heal. And he was patient, and he took his time. He wasn't pushy. And this is kind of an interesting thing. You guys will get a kick out of this. So he would randomly just, text and say, hey, do you want to go out on that date now? And I'd say, no, I don't. I'm not ready. I really like that we're just talking and, having phone calls, but I'm not really ready to go out on that date. So one day I'm sitting here on a Wednesday morning and just randomly this text comes through from him and it says, hey, I would love to take you on that date. And I said, you know what? This guy has been so patient and so nice and so confident. And I texted him back and I said, yeah, I would love to go on that date. What do you want to do? And he looked at his phone. He never sent that text. We still to this day have no idea how
really?
Yep. We have no idea how that text came through. He didn't text me on that day. It just came through.
Paranormal.
When he saw, I know, when he saw my
paranormal
response,
activity.
It was it was divine intervention, I think. It was like, you guys need to get together, and she's not, we got to get something moving here. And he saw his phone, and he just went, oh, okay. I guess we're going out on a date. And our first date was, 6 hours long, and it was magical. I knew within 15 to 30 minutes that this was such a twin flame connection with him. We were just, we poured it all out.
And how long have you been married now?
So actually, we will be on March 30th married for 3 years, together for 5.
Wow, what a success story of knowing you want. And I always felt like that's the thing that people are not creating in their mind exactly what they want and writing it down and manifesting it that way. Write every quality that you want in a man and then think about it. Really think about it. And you were able to get away from thinking and magnetizing the wrong person coming to you time and time again, to changing that way of thinking, and then you drew the person, and it was the right person because he was patient. He knew what he wanted. I admire him for that so much.
I do too,
well.
And this gets even more interesting. So we dated for 4 months. Well, at that time, I was really enabling my oldest daughter. She was making these choices that I was trying to help her through. She was doing sort of a repetitive cycle of what I did when I was younger. And so me as a mother, I wanted to save her and not have her, feel that pain of those same choices I had made. So I really started living my life for her. And so when we were dating for 4 months, he saw that and he thought, oh, my gosh, that's a lot of drama and I have kind of a simple life. I don't know if I can handle that. And he started working a lot. And I started going into old patterns of being second, and saying, okay, let me bring you dinner to your work and, okay, I'll come to you. And I'm telling you, Barb, I recognized it and I stopped it and I said, what are you doing? You're doing it again. No, we're not going to do this again. Remember that bar, Maureen. Remember what you deserve. And I literally said to him, I have been second priority to alcohol, to abuse, to everything. I'm never doing that again. If I'm not your priority.
And now work. Somebody's work.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said, if I'm not your priority, this is not going to work. And he, I think, saw also the issues with my daughter, so we actually broke it off. I broke it off with him. And I remember the last thing he said to me. I know.
That's the best thing you can do.
Yep. I stuck to that bar and said, never again. And he said to me when he was leaving, but I really love you. And I said, I love you too, but sometimes love is not enough. And we were on good terms. We would text every now and then and just say, hey, how you doing? So his mother passed away. We broke up in October. His mother passed away on December 27th. He goes back to South Dakota where he grew up. And he has the funeral, and now his 94-year-old father is alone. And he checks on him, goes and flies back there. So he goes back in April, and he has this talk with his father, and his father is not emotional, does not share emotions. They don't have deep talks, never have. But here's this 94-year-old man telling Dennis, oh, my gosh, I regret everything that I did with your mother. I didn't show her that I loved her enough. I wasn't present enough with her. And he has all this regret. And it's really like seeping in with my husband, and he's going, man, that's like gut-wrenching regret. So my husband sort of molded around in his head, and he said, if I ever had a second chance with Maureen, or if I had that kind of love that I had with her, I would do it different. And in the meantime, I learned how to detach from my daughter's issues and her choices. I decided that she needed to learn those lessons, and I needed to heal from that. And I knew I would never be able to have a relationship if I was living my daughter's life, and so I had to heal. So he comes back from South Dakota, and a week later, I don't know what motivated me, but I just said, hey, do you want to get together and just catch up? So we did, and literally a month and a half later, he proposed and he moved in. And so, the moral of that story is we're supposed to be together, but we weren't supposed to be together until we were both fully healed.
Yes, and that just goes to show you that sticking to your guns works.
You
And
know,
that was the best thing you could do to break up with him. Usually when my friends ask me what to do because they're not getting what they know they deserve from a man. But he's a good man. And he's got his hand up still. I say, don't talk to him for 3 full months. And if he comes back, then it'll be fine. And it has worked 2 times. I've done this with 2 friends, and they ended up getting married, and they're happily married. That's why I say it's the best thing you could have done because of what I've seen. Okay.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, it seems like Barbara, I'm not going to name any of the names, but it seems that Barbara has gone through a lot of relationships like that. Am I right? Where they're breakups, but they're teaching experiences.
Oh, yes. But I have. When you said that you had an alcoholic before, only a few years ago, I had one for the first time, and I never knew how scary that could be. It's so unpredictable, and it's so sad that somebody could just do that and ruin something so wonderful. I have been through that. I know what to watch for that. But I think really the key here is to really know what you want as an individual and what you know you deserve, and do not settle for less, ever. I came to that conclusion, Maureen. I did, like you did. When you said earlier, you said, I don't care if I'm in an old folks' home and I meet, my soulmate. I'm to that point now. I used to be always looking, always wondering, where's my dream man? Where's my dream man? So when anybody ever showed up, I thought, oh, God sent me my dream man. Here he is. And I didn't keep, to my guns. To my guns, I didn't. And now I'm single and free. I have a free, fresh start, so it's great to know you, life coach Maureen Scanlon, that's for sure.
I just love that. And the beauty of it is I know I coach a lot of women that are single and they're in the dating arena. And one of the reasons I wrote that book was just so many people have these questions about relationships. And, the book is about dating. It's about marriage. It's about, committed relationships. But it's really about knowing what you deserve and not losing yourself just to get into a relationship or meet others' expectations. It's like you should be the wholest person you can be when you're in a relationship. That two halves make a whole, I don't believe in that. I think I need to be whole and you need to be whole. Why do I want to be half a person? I want to be whole. And that really is it. Women get really frustrated with the dating process. And my girlfriend used to say, you make a hobby out of dating. I'm like, you're darn right I do, because I need to get good at it. I need to get good at seeing signs. I need to get good at knowing what doesn't work. I need to know what does work. I need to know, the check marks. And we are sort of, I don't know about you, Barb, but I think women, not to exclude Jonathan, but I think women have really kind of been geared to settle. In other words, well, he's a good provider even if he's not a very good listener. So we kind of feel like our expectations are too much, like we're asking for too much. Oh, you're picky, or, oh, you want the perfect guy. Well, I want the perfect guy for me, and I don't think I'm too picky because it's what my soul needs. It's what my heart needs, and if you think it's too much, well, then it's too much for you, but don't judge me for that. So I think we were geared to just say 90% of what he does is good. The other 10% you're just going to have to deal with. Well, I don't think that's true.
50s. The mentality in the 50s, and you have broken the cycle because what you were describing, the woman, they have to put up with whatever the man doles out, and for better or for worse. I don't think so. No, when it comes to being abused and putting up with that, no, because it's a chain reaction too with your daughter. If that was her father, then she's kind of falling into that as well. And then you go down and fall into it again with her, dealing with that.
Yeah, repeating that cycle. And she got out of it, thank goodness. She got out of it. she did suffer a pretty traumatic physical injury. You know, she has a plate and 13 screws in her arm that causes pain every day, that reminds her that she's never going to go into that situation again. But she got out. She got out, and that's all that I ever wanted, was just know your worth, telling my daughter, know your worth. And she did it sooner than I did. And so that's a win. And,
yes,
you know, it really is generational curses that we break to say, I was the first one that was ever divorced, you know, in our whole family. It was like kind of the suck it up buttercup mentality.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I just wasn't willing
rare.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to do it anymore. And, you know, and I had another marriage, and he was a great guy, but it didn't work with my kids. He wasn't a good stepdad. And, again, didn't stick to my bar, where you got to have the whole package. You've got to have all of it. You can't be a good husband and not a good stepdad, because my kids were here long before you. And
you can't just have the woman and then, but I got to put up with the kids. No, no. That is not going to work. That happens way too often. But let me go over I know about your first book, My Dog is More Enlightened Than I Am, which I love the title, by the way. That's amazing. But you just wrote another book, right?
I did.
Or is that okay? And it's called My Dog is the second book.
I was waiting for you. My Dog is.
I didn't catch the title.
You're like, that's your cue, Maureen. My Dog is my relationship coach. So this is obviously going to be a series and a theme. I'm working on book 3 as well. Just because the dogs really, really show us how to be unconditionally loving, and that's what we should be doing here while we're here, just showing love and compassion. So everything that our dogs do is an example of how we can live. And so what's that?
Unconditional. They're showing unconditional respect, support, being by your side. It really is a good guideline to go by, is watching how your dog acts.
Yeah, because you know what? They live in the moment. They embrace joy. You know, they treat each other so well. They know what they want. You know, in the book, I talk about when they go to a dog park, you know, there's no dating ritual with these guys. They're not online. They either like a dog or they don't. And we need to be that simple. We need to go on a date and be like, yeah, I don't like you. Or, you know, yeah, you know what, you just don't have what I want. We need to be that simple.
You know what, it's so funny. It's so funny. My daughter today came in my room and was sitting there spending time with me, and she goes, I want a new kitty. I want another kitty. And I go, no, I want a dog. I want to get a poodle, and I want it to have a pee pad, and it's only going to use the pee pad and then cuddle with me. That's going to be its only job, and I'm going to feed it. It's going to get fat and unhealthy, and nobody is going to want to hold it except me, because it's going to have runny, rusty eyes. And we were laughing our heads off. We were laughing because it was all, like, of course, a joke, because we're thinking, can we get a dog? We're going to have to take care of it. We're going to have to walk it. It's so similar to a relationship. So once you get your dog, once you get your good man, you have to take care of it. It doesn't mean, he's got to be perfect and, that is it. No, we still have to nurture. We can't let them get unhealthy and be only ours, We have to let the dog, and the man, we have to let him flourish as well. And that is a healthy relationship. But it's so weird that we were talking about a dog and relationships and analogies today. Isn't that weird?
That is not weird at all, because I love those synchronicities, and it's funny because one of the chapters in the book is about giving each other space, and that's exactly what it is. Like, give people space to grow and to, balance out. Like, let me have some alone time. I don't want to be attached to your hip. I don't need to be attached to your hip. I had heard one time, if my husband's in New York, he doesn't love me any less than he does when he's sitting in the same room with me. It's like, give some space. And what's funny? I think, Barb, you're going to enjoy this. And Jonathan, you're going to love this. In the book, one of the chapters, I talk about weirdness. And when I say weirdness, it's, like that Dr. Seuss, saying about when you find someone else that has the same weirdness as you get together and you both have weirdness. But the weirdness part of it is everybody's going to have these little quirks. And if you love someone, you don't see it as weird. And that's kind of the premise of that chapter was, you might think you do something weird, but when someone loves you, they're going to find it endearing. And just like if there's somebody has something that is kind of, off of charts or whatever that doesn't resonate with you, you're going to be like, oh, that would never work for me. So I think that's a really good way to look at it.
Oh, yeah.
About being strange. My nephew, Van, would hear my mom call me upstairs to come down to dinner. And she would hear me do it so much that my nephew Van thought that I was deaf. So every time he would say my name, this is what he would do. At night, when he would go to bed, he would say his prayers, and then he would say the roll, which is all the people in his little universe, bless this, bless that. And then he would go like, Nana, Papa, Assi, Asha, Uncle John. And then when he gets to mind him, he would scream it, and then he would go, and apparently he would say he would even call out to me even if I was only 5 feet away. It was like, Uncle John.
So funny. That's so cute. When
your name has to be at a certain decibel because of your mom.
And
but Jonathan, what you were go ahead.
And another story was about my nephew was about my nephew. He had he was learning about the birds and the bees, and my this is my other nephew, and my sister and my brother-in-law thought that he had finally got it. So he was walking around and he was talking to everybody, and then finally they had to take him aside and say, no, you almost got it. You see, you need to understand there's no peeing involved.
Oh my gosh, I love it, and I love uniqueness and weirdness. And Jonathan was saying something.
But what I was going to say, is that actually makes sense. That mistake actually makes sense,
Yeah.
Go on with what you're saying.
It's just, back to that sort of weirdness thing. I mean, I do things that my husband just thinks is the cutest thing, and other people would be like, oh, my gosh, you're so weird, Maureen. And I was thinking about you, Jonathan, with the jury duty, and you know what? When someone loves you unconditionally, they're going to find everything that you do as endearing. They're not going to be like, oh, God, that doesn't work. If it doesn't fit, then people shouldn't be together. If I'm going to find things about my husband disgusting, I don't want to be with someone that I find things disgusting in. I want to find everything he does endearing, right?
But isn't that hard when you're super young and you're so in love with somebody and your heart's breaking because it's not working, and so you try and try and try? How do you get through to these young people when they're like, but I love him?
I say love is secondary because it is. I mean, there has to be this respect and this trust, and you love, the thing is most young people, well, and there's exceptions. I know my son who's 22 and his girlfriend who's 21 are extremely mature and wise and have the healthiest relationship ever. But, most young people have an idea of being in love and the idea of having the relationship, not really looking at the relationship for what it is. So they'll make excuses for the partner that, of things they're doing wrong, instead of really opening their eyes and seeing what it is right in front of them.
You must have to go really deep into their whole life to find where are the problems, which are stemming from maybe childhood. Even, like last night we were talking to this lady who was talking about even when she was a baby, she feels like it came from being a baby in the incubator, that her subconscious knew, I'm a victim, I'm getting help as long as I'm sick.
That was the lady
I'm going to, that's how I am going to live my life. Be sick, get help. So how deep do you have to dig with people?
I have this really amazing exercise that I do, and I wait until about like our 5th or 6th session so that I know that they're committed and they're driven to change and they're really meeting their goals. So I have to see this pattern of we set goals, you're meeting your goals, you're intent on making change, and then about the 5th or 6th session, I do something called the false belief exercise. And the false belief exercise is exactly what you're talking about, Barb, where we deep dive. I ask questions, and I ask them in several different ways, and this pattern, this trend starts coming out. So you can see in some people there's abandonment. You can see there was, criticism and negativity. You can see they were, from a certain birth order, they were the perfectionist and the peacemaker in the family. So it's really cool, and people get such a awareness out of it, and it's usually their breakthrough aha moment where they're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I was doing that. I've been doing that my whole life. Or, that's what we do. So we bring out, why do you believe what you do believe, which makes you behave the way that you do. And then what we do is we turn it around. And I say, okay, so when that belief comes up or that thought comes up, what's your new belief? And we print it out, and it's something they have to see every day and read it every day, put it in their pocket, purse, on the bathroom mirror, whatever. And that repetition installs that new belief, which changes to make the new behavior.
Wow, I love this, because I've always thought of as a life coach as somebody who is for somebody who's already got everything all great, and they just want to take the next step to maybe be a super career person. I always thought that's what a life coach was, to take somebody to the next level. But a life coach is a life coach, really. For anything.
It is. It is
wow.
like, it's almost like your next step after the therapy and counseling, because therapy and counseling is going to really talk about the past. It's going to talk about, the failures, the pain, the hurt, the trauma. And then when you come to a life coach, at least in my life coaching, we touch on some stuff, but we don't stay there, because I don't want to reinstill all of that stuff over again. So we take that, so we have knowledge of what we do, recognition of it, but then we move from recognition to let's integrate new thoughts, let's integrate new behaviors, let's reframe what we've been doing our entire life to do something different. So breaking the hamster wheel, the cycle of insanity, and it's uncomfortable. A lot of emotions come out, but it's release work. It's really empowering when people go, whoa, I never was able to stop doing that, Maureen, or I was never able to stop thinking that way, and now I know I can. Now I know I have a choice, and I can set intentions for my life. I can set intentions every day of how my day is going to go. So it's awesome.
Well, that
coaching
makes
is
sense.
yeah, to catapult you forward.
the life coach, by the time they get to you, they're ready for results. They want to see results. So I like that you say, you get right down to business. And it sounds like you get there pretty quickly. So that's awesome.
It is, because it really is a new way of thinking, because it's not the traditional therapy. And I'll tell you, 90% of my clients have been in therapy for years, and they come to me, and I'm not, this is not a bragging or anything like that, but it really is, it's progressive, because in 6 months they're a different person. And they're like, whoa, because nobody pushed them forward. Nobody made them have goals or accountability, or even just give them that positive, mindset to say, hey, you can do this. You've got this. You can move forward. You don't have to stay back in that place. Quit looking at what happened. That's the rearview mirror. Look out the windshield.
It's like a new beginning.
Mhm. Yep.
You're just giving them the tools. You're talking it through. You're finding out what makes them tick and why. And that is a talent. That's a huge talent. So tell us about the second book that you've written. You are finding a lot of success with it. And where could we find this book? And let me say the title. My Dog is My Relationship Coach. Oh, wow. You really are onto something with this. The dog in the title. The first book, My Dog is More Enlightened Than I Am. And then My Dog is My Relationship Coach. Cool. Do you have a third, before you talk about this book and the tour that you're on with it and everything, what is your third title? Can you tell us?
I can. So my third book is My Dog is Fearless. And it's going to be about overcoming anxiety and beliefs that hold us back.
Okay. And the second book now out. Your first book was great and successful. The second book right now just out. Tell us about how that's doing.
Yes. So it was just released the end of January. We have all 5-star reviews so far, and I want everybody to do reviews if you read it, please. But we just found out that we're going to be able to do a global book tour. So it's going to be appearing at the London Book Fair, the Beijing Book Fair, the Frankfurt Book Fair, and there's a big one in America called the Book Expo. And so, yeah, it's sort of the Academy Awards of writing, because you have everyone in the business all in one room. And so bookstore owners, libraries, publishers, everyone's going to be there. And my publisher, Outskirts Press, is going to represent my book. And so hopefully we'll get a lot of good interest in it, and maybe we'll get an offer for some traditional publishing and get a contract for about 5 more My Dog Is books. How about that? Let's manifest.
Oh, I love that. I love the series, My Dog Is books. And the Book Expo, when is that again?
So they're all different times of the year. So the first one is the London Book Fair, and that one starts in June. And I don't have the dates for the other 3. I have to research those and see where they are. But yeah, because it's fairly new. I'm not going to be.
Book
yeah, my book will, and they choose 4 to 7 books, which is a big deal because they publish, quite a few books every year. So to be chosen for that is a big deal. And yeah, this
congratulations.
Is I appreciate that. Thank you. It's going to be really, really, really fun.
Right,
and,
Johnny? I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you, but I've got to make the point, Johnny. We interview so many people. They cannot get a book deal. They are struggling. So it is a congratulations honor. For us to even congratulate you is a big deal because it's not easy. It's not easy. These books must be phenomenal.
It's fun. And our first book just won another award. So total, the first book won 5 awards. And like I said, we're just in the process of seeing how the second one goes. And the second one is near and dear to me because honestly, Barb, it has a lot of my own experience, a lot of raw stuff that I explain about my, my relationships that were painful, but I have to share that because people need to read that I was there. I've been there, and so I understand how difficult it is. And I made crazy choices too. And you read it and it's like, oh wow. I look back and go, wow, Maureen, you were just a mess. But then I give myself that kudos to say, but this is why, because you needed to be able to share this. And I always feel like it's just about the message.
Oh yeah, but do you feel like you may have offended or hurt anybody, which they may deserve? Hey, you're speaking the truth, but that must be so hard for people who are pouring out on paper that, the world can see. This is like, you're an open book now. These are your secrets. These are your deepest, darkest feelings. And how do you get past that? Oh my gosh, I might hurt this person. They're not going to like this. How'd you deal with that?
Because I had healed to a point where I had no more shame associated with it. I had just had gratitude, and I have no control over what other people do. So for me, it was just being honest with myself and just saying the truth needs to be out there because there's someone that needs to hear this. There's someone that's in this situation right now, Maureen, and they pick up this book, they can have hope from hearing your story. So isn't it way
Did you get
worth...
any backlash from the ex on it?
I have nothing to do with him, so
Doesn't matter.
It's a non-factor, but I just feel like I think the reward is bigger than whatever fear of retaliation would be because I really don't care. It's my story. I'm allowed to tell it any way I want to. No one can censor me. That's my life.
Because someday the time will come. Everybody says, I need to write a book. There's a lot of things that could have, make people uncomfortable. You could also change names. Do you ever change the names in your books to protect the privacy of others?
I did. I did change the name of my children's father out of respect for my children. And some of the exes, just because it doesn't matter. Their names don't matter. Yeah. But Barb, you know what? It just made me think of something when you were talking about writing a book. I just feel like you need to. You have information that people need. You've gone through a lot of stuff in I don't know what, but I feel like something about an industry, a certain industry. I feel like you would have a lot of information for people that need it or that are in a bad situation that really could be guided, I think is what I'm getting.
Why do you
I don't know what.
Are you clairvoyant as well?
Yes, I'm a spirit guide medium. So yeah,
you are a medium?
It'll just come. Silly, remember I did readings last time?
Well, yes, but I am sorry, Maureen. Oh my gosh, I have done this show. Our first year, we did it 7 days a week, not missing a day. Literally, the first year, and we interviewed so many people. We had so many guests on the show, so I have it. Your shows, I can go back and listen to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I ask for that again? But it's okay because the audience haven't heard. Maybe some new people haven't heard you talk.
That's true.
So I feel like whatever question I ask, it's okay because it's going to, get heard by people who are new.
Yeah, no worries. My my being able to be a medium is sort of, it's like my life coaching is on one end and my mediumship is on the other end, and every now and then they meet in the middle. But I really love the life coaching for the more psychology and human aspect of it, because a lot of people get sometimes turned off if you have both, I should say, So, but
yeah,
I get these messages
I'm not
every
one of
now
them,
and then.
I
know. You guys have psychics on all the time.
And I never even was into that at all before the show, at all. So this has been very therapeutic for me to actually be on the show with so many great people coming on. And then, afterwards you ponder, let's apply that to my life. And I have grown so much. I was not at this point before I became the co-host at all. I was codependent, definitely codependent on having a relationship. I definitely was. And people are so shocked that I am not dating. I don't want to right now. And that's okay. Oh, well.
Yes, it is.
I know what they're thinking. Oh, well, are you going to be able to find a man when you're older in 10 years? I don't care. Yes, I am. I don't care about, I don't concern myself with thoughts like that, because it's ridiculous when you know that you will be given what you are, not deserve, but it's going to come because you're doing all the right things in the universe, and you're going to attract the right things. So, hey, tomorrow I could fall in love. I don't know, but it's okay if I don't. If it's 5 years from now, that's fine too. People aren't at that point, though, are they?
Isn't that terrible? We're always asking people what's next. If someone isn't married, we say, when are you going to get a boyfriend? And then when you're with someone, when are you going to get engaged? When are you going to get married? And then when are you going to have kids? It's like society puts all of these expectations on people, and it's like, whose business is it? What do you want to do? If you don't want to have a relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. Why do we think that everybody has to be paired up to be healthy? That is so... Oh, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Anyone could be single for the rest of their life. They cannot have children if they don't want children. Why do we think that we need to put our ideals on someone else's life? It's about divine timing. When you're ready and you want a relationship, you will get a relationship. But it's nobody's business if that's at 50 or 80 or 20.
Right. And I got married at 40, and I said to everybody, well, I guess I'm normal now. Are you happy? Literally, I was serious. And then when it didn't work out, they couldn't say anything. They were the people who were pressuring me. When are you going to get married? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And my best girlfriend from 5th grade still is my best friend. She never settled. She never got married because she said, I'm fine just by myself. Well, she had a son, but she was above all of that. She didn't care. But so many of us, we care what other people think. Can you erase that out of somebody's mind who really, really cares what other people think?
Oh, 100%. That's one of the biggest.
Cool.
That is one of the biggest issues that my clients have and especially the younger generation, because they're consistently comparing themselves because of social media. And it's those expectations that's the whole point, is people need to get validation. That's what we want as humans. But until you validate yourself, then you're never going to have what you want. So that is one of the biggest things that we work on. Is I tell people, you have to stop looking outside of yourself and really look at what's inside, and do you love what's inside? Because you can't seek love from someone else if you don't love yourself. It will never work. You're asking someone to fill a void that you're not filling for yourself.
And they find themselves in these relationships that are fake, and it's all for show, and deep down they're not happy, and we wonder why the suicide rate is so high. and all of these other things, crazy things that happen, like even murders, killing spouses. If we had a life coach like you from the beginning, so much bad would not happen.
You know, and it's so simple. I know you're going to be like, no, it's not. It's a talent. My husband, I say all the time, I'm like, but it's so easy. And he goes, no. He goes, it's easy for you, Maureen. I'm like, but it makes sense to me because I didn't have it, because I've learned it. But it's a simple thing. It's about, see, here's the problem. All of it came from our programming. So you think about little boys were raised, don't be a sissy, don't cry, don't show your emotions. You know, a little boy falls down and you're like, get up, you're tough, right? But a little girl falls down and you're like, oh, are you okay? So we're teaching boys it's not okay to be weak. It's not okay to show emotion. So we start this at a young age with all of them, with the kids. Then what happens is everybody, generation after generation, starts programming the same things over and over. So now that validation part of it is we were taught don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. And now the mindfulness part of what's changing, the energy that's shifting is be selfish, be self-loving, be self-caring, be self-aware, be actualized. So we're trying to undo programming that's been there since we were babies and say it's okay to feel emotion. It's okay to seek out help if you need it from someone, not buck up and take it, or in my household it was suck it up, buttercup, or, that's life, deal with it. I mean, that was really all that programming.
Making very light of it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we're coming back around, which I'm so happy, and that's why life coach, I'm so passionate about it. It's a drug for me because I can tell people you can do something different. You can do what feels good to you. You can be selfish. If you want to take a break and go rest, go rest. If you want to eat a food that feels good, go eat a food that feels good. Rather than the generations of alcohol and drugs that were self-medicating because people didn't know how to self-soothe in any other way. Now we've got meditation. We've got mindfulness. We've got other distraction methods. We've got, ACT therapy and, all these methods that I help people with that are a healthy outlet that allow them to be proud of themselves and to validate themselves.
So many tools. And I'm looking at your photo. You are absolutely gorgeous. You are on Good Morning America. You were on one of my favorite shows because I lived in Arizona for a couple of years, and I see that you were on that morning show. I loved that show, Sonoran Living. I loved it. I got a lot from that show. They had great people, including you, on it.
That was fun, and we were on Good Morning Arizona. That was super fun. It was so fun. And now that COVID's over, I'm so excited to get to go back out there and do that stuff now, more speaking and more in-person stuff, because you can only do so much online. And I'm a people person. I want connection. I want face-to-face, time with people. So thank you. I appreciate you for.
So important. It's so important. Stuff. Because lonely people, that is happening right now. Oh, we have so many callers on Fridays where we do have callers every Friday, and they are looking for the love of their life. I could sense, I could tell there's so much work some of these people need to do first, and they're just like hanging out in their place all alone in a dark, depressing place, waiting for God or whomever to just place this twin flame, which I want to get into really quickly. They're waiting for that to be deposited into their life. But no, there's some work to be done. There are steps to take, and you've got to dig in deep. So you need a life coach. And here we're offering the direct link to one, Maureen Scanlon, right now. Oh, my God. I'm so glad we had this show. It is so enlightening because people are thinking, why me, why me, why me? Okay, change your way of thinking, for one. There's many steps you take. But after 5 to 6 sessions with you, you're getting into the meat of it, aren't you? You're getting really in deep. So what do you say to a person if they come to you and they have such a wall and they're not opening up? Can you work with that, or do they have to really open up and like just let it out, get raw, get real?
Oh, 100%. There has to be a readiness there, and I screen. And I'm so blessed that I've learned, because I worked at a corporate job for 25 years, and I started this business, and I wasn't that great at the business aspect. I just knew there was a message, but I learned to get really good at knowing which clients are ready and aren't ready. And, I say build it and they will come. And Barb, let me tell you, I do not have a problem having clients brought. And the clients that come, I always say the right ones will come because I'm at that space to bring it. So I'm at that vibration to attract the right ones that are ready. There has to be a readiness. There has to be a willingness to say, I'm done with what I'm doing and I need help, and I need to be willing to take the tools. I say, I give you the tools, but you have to build the house. And I always say, trust the process. Don't be impatient. Take it a step at a time. Baby step is still movement. And so it really is
true.
You have to reach a point. And so many of my clients, I love that you just said this. So many of my clients will say, I've been thinking about a life coach for about a year now, and I finally made the call. And I'm like, then this is the time. So divine timing brings you to me when you're ready. And if you're just not ready and committed to, the investment to, pay for the time that I put into you, because I'm very emotionally engaged in your success. So I need you to be as invested, in yourself as I am in you. There has to be an openness. There has to be raw honesty. You have to own and be accountable and really be willing to say, put a mirror up in front of my face and what am I doing? What am I doing? And we peel back the layers. And I tell you, I've not had any bad experiences. I have had just one actually, who didn't want to they weren't ready for the life coaching part of it. They still needed the therapy. They wanted to keep rehashing their past. And I had to say, I don't do that. We don't rehash your past. We move forward from your past, and that's life coaching. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the difference, then you probably should look more into therapy because you want something more intensive. You want EMDR, or you want, something that's way more intensive, hypnotherapy, things like that. But I really have been so blessed with the clients that I have, because I am so invested and I'm pretty enthusiastic. It's, you can't be a downer when you're in my session. It's just not possible.
No, you are.
I think we're about out of time.
Go ahead.
But go with what you're saying.
Yeah, I was going to close the show momentarily. I just wanted to say thank you, Johnny, and that, Maureen, you are energetic and have a lot of energy, and it's good energy. And I'm glad that you talked about the screening process, because you're not somebody that's just taking the money just because somebody calls you up,
No,
they have to be ready. They have to be at the right point for you to take them on for life coaching. You're not sitting there with a couple in front of you arguing back and forth if that's not what you do. Okay.
No. My new mantra, Barb, is I'm not in it for the income, I'm in it for the outcome. So it really is.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not just taking your money to take your money. And I say that to people. I'll say, you know what, I don't want you wasting my time. I don't want to waste your money. I really want you to be invested in a new life, and that's what I'm invested in. So if you want to do it, I'm right there with you. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I will support you, but you just have to be ready, and that everybody's at a different stage in their life of readiness. So
well,
can I tell everybody the website to go to if they want to book
that's
this?
What I want. Oh, my gosh, I guess you read my mind. I was going to say, please tell us where we can find you, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Tell us.
I love it. So on Facebook, it's Life Coach Maureen S., and on Twitter, it's @Scanlon Life. And my website to book, you can book a session on there and contact me. It's www.lifecoachmaureen.com.
Oh, well, that makes it easy, because if they know your website, Life Coach Maureen, then they'll be able to find everything else. So
yes, you can get the book,
and plus
there's a blog, and lots of fun stuff on there.
Okay, do you have the book where it is an audio book too?
Oh, I'm so happy you just asked that. I did not do an audiobook for the first book, but I'm right now in the process of finalizing the audiobook for the second book, and I got the most amazing narrator who she just brought it to life, and I've never heard my words from somebody else, and it is the most fun thing, and I know a lot of people are really into audiobooks, so that will be coming out soon. It will be soon.
I am. I like having the actual tangible book in my hand, of course, and I would love to have you sign it for me. But, you know, if you're driving or you're folding laundry, I mean, we're busy. So I think it's really important. So it's good to hear that you're doing that. But why did you decide not to yourself do the audio?
You know, that's a great question. I was going to, and then I found out all the work that was involved. Like, I'd have to go into a closet, and I'd have to, like, soundproof a closet, and I would have to do these retakes and edits, and I'm not a professional. There's professionals for that, so I leave that to the professionals. And, you know, the dogs would be barking in the background, and I'm not technologically, right? I'm not technologically savvy, so I thought, you know what, I would rather pay to have the expert do it. And, you know, her name is Lee, and she's a professional voiceover and narrator, and she's amazing, and she did the best job I could have ever hoped for. She brought it to life.
Oh, that's wonderful, because I've been listening to some books that celebrities have written, and, of course, they have to do their own audio. And it's like, I can tell you're reading, dude, you know. And it's nice to hear that star saying it, but I can also then pick apart, which is distracting. So good for you on that decision.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing. And you know, the interesting thing is we got an airplane, sorry. The biggest thing I wanted was to be able to get my personality to come through, and she did it. She did an amazing job. I have a lot of, you know, quirky little things in there, and I wanted that to come across, because it's like my writing is like having a conversation with me. So I wanted everyone to feel like we're just having a conversation, guys, and I didn't want it to be monotone or, you know, anything like that. So it was interesting. I got chills hearing someone else read my words, and that was fun.
Interesting. Okay, wow. I'm excited to read it, hear it, and read it. So thank you so much, Maureen. We are so honored to have you on our show, as always. Right, Johnny?
Yes.
Johnny.
I will always say yes to you guys. You guys are two of my favorite people in the entire world.
Really?
So I will always say yes to you guys.
Well, thank you so much. I just want to go over for the shout out to let everybody know who we were spending our hour with. Life coach Maureen Scanlon. She has a website, and you can find all of her books and things she's doing and where to follow her on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all of that at
LifeCoachMaureen.com.
LifeCoachMaureen.com. Right here, yes. That, and not even your last name in it. So how easy is that, folks? LifeCoachMaureen.com. That's cool that you were able to get that, by the way.
The book is on Amazon, so go get the book and leave those reviews. Leave those 5-star reviews.
I'm getting that right now, Maureen, because I'm an Amazon Prime member. I love Amazon Prime, and I have free audio credits and things like that. I mean, they make it very, very affordable to read books these days there, and that's I was going to ask you, so I'm glad you're on there, Amazon. That's easy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's a Kindle version as well. So the Kindle version is less expensive. It's $6.99 for the Kindle version, $17.95 for the paperback. So yeah, go support an author, a little low author. Go get it, guys, and just
change your
find
life,
your person.
Find your person, change your life. Find your other person.
Yes,
the person
and love
that
you
might
above everything else. Just be true to who you are. Stay true to who you are.
My key word is unconditional. I need somebody to love me unconditional because, you know what, I'm a lot to deal with. I'm great, but I have a lot of different facets to my personality. And get to know me, before you propose. But it's colorful. I'm colorful. I am a colorful person. I'm not going to waste myself on somebody who doesn't deserve me. Heck no.
That's right. You are perfect in the way that you are, and the right person is going to see that perfection, and they're going to love that perfection, and they're going to accept you 1,000,000% for who you are. And if you aren't with someone who's doing that, you're with the wrong person, because I'm going to leave you with this, because I know Jonathan's going to want to cut us off here, but I say this: you need to have a Cheeto partner. A Cheeto partner is this. I was sitting at my desk one day, and I don't know, I was just craving some Cheetos, and it just kind of crossed my mind. I went, gosh, I wish I had some Cheetos. And I'm not kidding you, didn't call my husband, didn't text my husband. He comes in the door one night with Cheetos in his hand. Oh, if that's not my twin flame, I don't know what is. He shares my brain, he shares my soul, and he shares my heart. So find a Cheeto partner.
Oh, my gosh. I love all of these little analogies. And that made me have the chills all over. And you know what that means, right, Johnny? There's an angel around us. And it's this confirmation. So, wow. What a success story. Thank you so much, Maureen, for coming on. We loved having you. And this show will be up on You're Welcome. And
I love
so exciting.
your show.
We're on YouTube.
I love what you're doing. You guys are amazing, and just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are both amazing people, and I know you're just sharing your greatness with the world, and the world needs that. And I'm so happy that there's lights like you out there to do this. Someone needs to hear it.
And life after happiness. You heard it here, everybody. Maureen Scanlon coming out with her third book, her second book, Skyrocketing into Success. Go out and get it on Amazon. Oh, wow. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I can't wait to have you back again. And thank you, Johnny, for producing the show.
Thank you.
And, hey.
Well, thank you, Marlene, and thank you, Barbara.
Start thinking, people. Start thinking. You're worth it.
Not everyone.
I love it. Good night. Thank you.